Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our webinar on the evolution of premium granular inoculants. My name is Russell Mello. I'm the technical sales representative for Lallemand Plant Care here in Southern Alberta. Also joining me today is Nicola Waters, our Lalfix product manager, Chase Oswald, who is our field solutions manager, and Morgan Betker, who is our technical sales representative in Southern Saskatchewan. So we just thought we would do a brief overview of Lallemand as a company for those of you who may not be fully aware here. We are a family-run, independently owned company. Started over 100 years ago, solely focused on the research, development, and commercialization of microbial technologies. So we've been doing this a very long time. We operate globally with 12 different business units. Myself and my colleagues here today are part of the plant care business unit. So this just gives you an overall snapshot of a lot of the different products that you would see every day and use every day that may have a Lallemand product inside. So anywhere from whiskey and wine and champagne to probiotics, different cultures for cheeses. We're involved with production of ethanol and meat production, as well as many other areas. So just kind of gives you an idea that you could be integrating with Lallemand every day without even knowing it. And so with that, I will turn it over to Nicola Waters.
Hello, folks. Thank you, Russell. I'm happy and excited to talk to you today about Lalfix spherical products, or our granular product line. So as Russell mentioned, my name is Nick. I'm based out of Quebec City, and I manage the Lalfix portfolio globally. And I must say that Canada is my favorite place. The team is they are the champions. So thank you, Russell. Thank you, Morgan, for your precious work. The US is a close second, I would say, Chase. So thanks for your job too. And today we wanted to chat a bit about the history of Lalfix granular product and to give you a little bit of the small details that make it different from what's in the market today. Moving forward. So let's start with a little bit of the history of the granular product used in Canada and in North America, generally speaking. It all started with the first generation of granular product, the peat-based one, that we like to call crumble peat. Now, some of those products are on the market since the 70s, so there's nothing new there. So that was the older way to use granular product. Part of the challenge with that formulation was that in terms of microbial survivability, it's relatively bad, and we'll show you some example of that, particularly because of the dust. Now, in the 70s, the dust was not much of a problem because farm equipment were a little bit smaller, so you could still live with a decent amount of dust without that dust to cause any issue. But today, with farm equipment being bigger and bigger, even a small percentage of dust could cause a lot of issue in terms of the farm equipment. But only that, the dust is detrimental to the survivability of the rhizobia, meaning that we knew when we decided to go on the granular product with the formulation, we knew that the peat was not an option. So then there was a second generation of product coming in Canada around the 90s. It was clay-based granular product. They have a better survivability. It's not perfect, but it's better. And they are lower dust. Part of the challenge is it's in terms of application. It's still not the best. It could cause issues with some metering system that have trouble with them. And so when we were asking customers in Canada, particularly, what they were looking for, they were all saying that they had issues with both formulation of granular, including the clay base. So that's why we knew if we wanted to have a granular product, we needed something else. So if we want to deliver the good microbes in the soil, we need the third generation. We call it bioengineer. So all of our spherical product use that carrier that is not clay. It's not only peat. It's let's call it our own recipe, carbon-based. So it's totally, environmentally good to go, and it's will be biodegradable in the soil. But that will provide the shelter for the rhizobia to live and thrive. But not only that, but it's close to dust-free, meaning that in terms of farm application and all of that, it's really something different. So one of the major feature of all of our Lulfix product line is the carrier of the rhizobia that we have developed, and we have developed it for Canadian and American farmers that use big farm equipment because we knew that's what they wanted. They wanted something easy to use. Now, one of the key element is the high porosity of the carrier. So let's imagine a house, if you want, and like the high porosity is the number of room you have inside of that house. So with that bioengineer carrier, we know that there's a lot of room so that the rhizobia will live and thrive. And that's one of the key in terms of being able to deliver good level of rhizobia alive. And that will explain also some of the performance we see in the field. But not only that, but with the consistency of the size, we know that we always have the same amount of rhizobia in every particles, and we deliver them easily in the field because the flowability will be good. Meaning, like that idea of a bioengineer carrier was something that we had in mind because we knew that if we wanted to deliver result, we needed consistency, and that was the best tool to do that. One of the first trials we have done was to look at titer analysis when we were competing with other product, and what you can see here is that, like we mentioned before, we knew there was a problem with peat granular product in terms of survivability, and you can see on that slide that a lot of product were even below label guarantee. So even before you use it in the ground, you don't even have the rhizobia alive. Now on the clay base, the titer was good, but as I mentioned, there was other issue. Now with our product, here's what happened. The rhizobia not only stick on that environment, but it could also live and thrive and continue to develop inside of the granular product. And as a result of that, the titer analysis are usually even higher than the minimum guaranteed. Not because we apply too much, but because they live and thrive and multiply inside of the carrier itself. So all of that, we believe, explain part of the success of the carrier itself. I could be speaking about, the rhizobia strain that we put together. We always talk about dual strain. We add co-inoculation, but that's not the topic today. We just wanted to show you that the carrier itself is super important when it goes down to a product. And every element of the product will explain the success of it. But in the case of the spherical product, it's a huge part of the success. I'm super happy to share that, as a Canadian company, Lalma was super excited to launch a product in Canada that we thought will solve an issue that Canadian farmers had to deal with, which was that inoculant was problematic and granular inoculant were causing issues. And here's what happened since 2021. We have a growth every year in terms of, and it's a really nice one. So thanks again to the sales rep. Thanks again for the farmers and retailers for their trust. We hope that to continue. We will be reaching close soon. Well, actually, we reach it for 2025, but the 4 million acre, covered by that technology, and that success is because of that. Listening to customers and what they wanted, and they wanted ease of use, and that's what we deliver with the spherical product.
All right, thanks, Nick. Again, my name is Chase. I'm our field solutions manager for both the US and Canada. Internally, our field solutions team, what we're ultimately responsible for is showing how our products work in the field, both in terms of yield, in terms of mechanism, those sorts of things. So that's the primary focus of my job, and been heavily involved in the development of this granule ever since I started with Lalma about 6 years ago. So we're thinking about yield performance, of our commercially available products. Where it tends to start out at is third-party replicated work. And that is foundationally, what we really want to assess is the agronomic benefits of the actual active ingredients. So taking away, the handling advantages that our granule has on a large scale implemented on large Canadian farms, but these small plots really hone in on the efficacy of the organisms that we're putting into a system. And so that's where we start. We want it to be very controlled, eliminate any, equipment benefits that come with a nice handling product, but just demonstrate the efficacy of the organism and how well it's able to enhance yield ultimately when we're thinking about inoculants and maximizing that biological nitrogen fixation. So these are, consistent examples, but 2 examples we decided to include. We're really just going to be showing the summary of the data with respect to our granules. When we looked at these third-party products, looking at both our START technology, which we have an integration of a different PGPR organism on top of the actual nitrogen fixing rhizobia, we saw a really nice response and a little bump over our historical just spherical product, which is just our nitrogen fixing species. Now, looking at both the green bars in this instance, it still showed very strongly over other products competing in the market. So for us, from a confidence standpoint, this is showing that our manufacturing process, the integrity of our organisms are without a doubt surviving in the granule and doing what they need to do, which is fix nitrogen for our pulse crops. So then moving forward, we take this product and we get it out to the field. And this is a really nice data set that's a function of a very effective commercial team, not only getting a lot of trials out, but trials across different geographies where it's valuable to your guys' growers and growers yourself. And so this is a snapshot of how the product is looked just on a holistic level. The bottom text box there, when you look at the summation of the trial, I think there was one trial where the leading competitor, so this isn't uninoculated, this is against a market competitor in that particular area, actually out-yielded ours in only one instance. So 94% of the time, it was either tied or there was a slight yield advantage using our granular product. And then from a quantitative perspective, about a 2.5 to 9% yield increase when we took those trials where there was a yield response. So it demonstrates consistency. It demonstrates a really well vetted commercial force going out and showing how this product works in the field. And so lastly, we just have some field images showing, these are pulled from the field, not from a replicated plot, which both of the instances demonstrate how, a good inoculant not only is going to help with yield and get pumped nitrogen to the plant, but it's a feedback mechanism to help with root growth. If you can eliminate that stave of a bucket where nitrogen is not an issue, you're going to manifest different functions of a plant. And in this picture, it's obvious there was increased root structure when we had more than likely probably a sustained release with a really nice efficiently applied granule. And again, eliminating the bottom bucket of nitrogen to help this plant grow and be as healthy as it possibly can. And I think the next picture is indicative just a little bit early on in the season. Really, it tends to be, especially with the START technology, really where we separate ourselves is early successful inoculation to get this plant up out of the ground, getting a really nice root system established.
Thank you, Nick, Russ, and Chase for the information you presented. If you have any questions you would like to ask personally, please reach out to Russ or I or anyone in your area. We also have the support line and the support email address below. And thanks again for joining us. Hope you have a great day.